probably didn't hear some of the students in the high school band chuckling in the back when Andy was talking about their last piece and how you had to stretch your ears a little bit. The students made me promise that I would explain that you're really going to have to stretch your ears on this next piece is going to be our encore, by the way. And so there will have to be some stretching of ears that will occur on this. Not to go political on this, but it sometimes seems to be unavoidable. I was reading in the newspaper this week that we in Prince George's County are going to begin assessing pre-assessments and post-assessments in music. On the one hand, I thought, you know, that's too bad because we've been avoiding that. We've lived in a little bit of a rarefied environment that our colleagues in the English and the math and the science departments have not had to, that they've had not had the luxury of avoiding. It's been mandated. And then I got to think, and I thought, you know, that's a little bit insulting because we as music teachers and as music students, we've been waiting for assessment for the last 50 years. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. We get ourselves out of bed on Saturday mornings, and we go to rehearsal, and then we get on buses, and we drive 100 miles down the road so that somebody else could stand in judgment of our bands and give us an arbitrary number score, and if we're lucky, we'll get a trophy. We go out on Friday nights and we perform in front of hundreds and hundreds of people in the stands. Our parents, our supervisors, our principals, the community, business leaders. Yet somehow that doesn't count as assessment. 50 years ago, we started doing band festivals where we'd go and they would pick the music. Let's see, structured curriculum. They would pick the music for us and tell us what we could play and what grade it was. And you had to play a certain grade if you were going to be considered a high school group or a middle school group. And then they were going to pick our colleagues. It gets worse. They're going to pick our peers and stand in judgment of us and tell us how good our band is. Yet, now they're going to come back and tell us that we need to be assessed in our music programs. And so, the composer of this last piece, several years ago, was experiencing this in his home state. Thomas Duffy is the director of bands at Yale University. And being the Ivy League sort of guy that he is, got to thinking about this whole testing mania thing. And he thought, you know, our music students, they already perform at a very, very high caliber all the time. And he said, you know, in any of our other classes, if you get a 97%, they tell you that you have an A+. You're up here, you get a gold star. You are the best of the best because you got at least a 97% on this test or this assignment. You get an A+. Good for you. He thought, you know, I wonder what it would happen if a band only played at a 97% average. Think about it for a second. So, being again the Ivy League sort of guy that he is, he went back and he composed this piece. And he calculated that there are 8,665 notes in the piece. And then he figured out that you could make an average of 3 mistakes on any given note. You could play an error of rhythm, error of pitch, error of duration. And so you come up with 25,000 some mistakes. And that's only with a 60-piece band. We had precisely 80 people, I think, is what we counted out. I'm only a tuba player as well, so I can only count to 4, really. Apparently, the qualifications for conducting the Arundel County All-County Bands, you have to be a heavy metal musician. And so Andy and I are glad to be here. But he went back and he calculated that there's 25,000 mistakes that can be made in here. And then he gives you this graph. You can't see this from where you're sitting, but he gives you this ridiculous graph, the error chart. This whole page is the error chart. And so down one side of the axis, it tells you how, if you have this many performers, then you go across this axis this way. And it tells you how many mistakes you can make to still get an A+. So, we couldn't go that far. It would allow this band to make 10 mistakes each. We're all the way in the bottom right corner. It's as many mistakes as you can possibly make. And we got to 5, and it was all we could take before the thing started falling apart. So my point, ladies and gentlemen, is that when someone tells you that your students need to be assessed, you tell them that they already are. They're assessed every time they pick that instrument up. They're assessed every time they go into a rehearsal. Your band directors are teaching the curriculum. They are teaching them the material. They are teaching them at a higher level. So what you're going to hear is you're going to hear a little aleatoric section here at the beginning, and then we're going to play a little march correctly. And then we're going to go back and we're going to play the same march again at an A+ average. And just for the record, this will still put us at a 98.5% average. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Keep supporting music. Keep supporting your band directors. They do a wonderful job. Keep supporting your students.